Now here we are live, yeah.
We're live now, Danny. Away you go.
Yeah. No. All right, relax, James, relax. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Mauls, Balls and All. Joining me tonight, we have Leinster's own Peter Burke, the man from the West, James Brennan, Mike Reedy, coming all the way from Scotland, and of course, our Munster man, Richard Holland, currently exiled over in Leinster.
In exile, yeah.
But yeah, in exile, yeah. I suppose we'll start off, Burke, with you at the moment. Ireland versus Italy. Do you see what do you think of that match? The result.
I thought it was a good game to watch. Expected with the first test match in, I don't know what, 2-3 months that the lads had. A bit clunky, a bit rusty. Good win. Doris played out of his skin. I thought Blade played okay. Earls, it wasn't bad. Stockdale let himself down. I think a few players, well, not a few, but I'd say maybe a couple, one or two, kind of wrote themselves off the invite list to France. But happy with the win. But I was more concerned about the injury to Conan. By all accounts, he should be okay. But I felt sorry for the Italian fella whose name escapes me, but he sounds like something you'd order in a cocktail bar. I don't even remember his name. I'll have one of. What's his name?
I'll have a look here, Pete, once.
I can't.
Yeah.
No, he sounds like it's something you'd pay 15 quid for in one of those wine bar shithead things. What's his name?
Pornstar Martini, no? That's not his name.
No. I'll have. Come on, Richard.
Cannone. Not Cannone, is it?
No. Menincello.
Oh, yeah, I think lemon. You were thinking limoncello.
Yeah, limoncello.
Yeah, so that's who he is. Well, I felt sorry for him. He's gone.
I think we've lost them.
Overall, for fuck's sake. Overall, a good enough result. Jesus Christ.
Danny's gone out to get for the meter.
Alana, here's the vice captain coming in. Pete, we've lost Danny already. He just asked me about the Italian Ireland game, and I gave my tuppence worth. So
he's gone off for a HIA there, I think Danny is.
Yeah, go on, Pete. I'm the only one who's answered.
HIA, that's heifer in an accident.
Yeah.
Go on, Pete. Over to you.
Anyway, you gave your tuppence worth. James, what did you think of that Ireland-Italy performance?
I thought it was a good game, very exciting to watch, and some people may have said Danny the magician. He's disappeared. I thought there was an incident there that wasn't picked up at the time. Our third try, McCluskey, he nearly tore the head off his opposite number. He hung out of him by the neck. Should have been at least a penalty for a high tackle and a disallowed try, not a yellow card. But it completely missed out. If you look back at the highlights, there's a 14-minute highlights reel. It's about 4 or 5 minutes into it. And I posted as well on the page. That was the outstanding thing for me. I didn't notice it at the time, but when I was watching back in the highlights reel, that stood out to me. But other than that, a good game. I thought Kellen Doris was outstanding, nailed on going to France. Couple of the other guys, Casey was good, and Blade was good as well when he came on. Good all-round performance. Win. A little bit rusty starting off, but what you expect after months without any game time.
True.
Indeed. Mike Reedy.
Yeah, I actually thought, especially the first half, I thought we played quite well. I thought we put the ball around well. We kind of picked up where we left off in the Six Nations, if I'm honest. And I thought Crowley and Casey pretty seamless, fitted into the team. Doris goes without saying. But I will say this, when he plays at 8, totally different player. Like he has got to play at 8. Now he can cover at 7 or 6, but that's all he's going to do. He's the best 8 probably in the world. and that's where he should be playing. So that's my opinion. The difference when he went to 8, like to see the second half, he was the one player that stood up in the second half when the rest of us, or because some of the lads weren't. And I thought Henderson for a very good game for like, you know, he hasn't played in a while, and he hasn't played a lot of rugby in the last year, in fact. But I thought he played very well. Front row did fine, did okay. I thought the young Stewart came on and done well, and he had a good chance down the wing if Stockdale had put him in. Now Stockdale played the entire game, and he had one pass, and he actually threw it over. I think it was Henshaw's head, and Earls picked it up from his feet. Like, it was a poor pass. It's the only pass he attempted. Now,
that was actually Henderson, Mike. That was actually Henderson. He was out in the touchline. He threw it over his head, and Earls picked it up and stepped in. Yeah. I know the one you're on about.
The only attempt he made to pass the ball, I thought he needs to have done more. I think. No, he didn't do. He wasn't bad. He wasn't out and out bad. But the missed tackle for their first try, and Earls,
I think that wiped it off
as well. So
yeah. There's a point. Sorry, Mike. To cut across, just as the comments are coming in. Adam Byrne retiring at 29.
That's from Dara Weston.
God, has he?
Well, I didn't know. Wow. I didn't know that. Jeez, that's a bit.
I know he's been ravaged by injury, so obviously his body is telling him something.
Must be fresh out. Dara Weston put that in. Dara, you might just let us know where you heard the information from, or when did that news break?
Yeah,
we haven't seen it, obviously.
Thanks, Dara.
No, I thought we did okay. First game in. I mean, there were some of the comments like that we had on the page afterwards were, fucking outrageous, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to check Peter there to tell people stop. Like, there was almost abusive stuff going around.
You got to remember, Mike. We've got a lot of new members on recently, and maybe they're just not familiar with the tone of this page and what's acceptable or not. But we've put a few shots across the bow of anyone that's been stepping out of line. So it's a bit of fun, and we don't need any of that abusive stuff.
No, why would you do that? I mean, if you're an Irish person in particular, why would you want to abuse one of our own players ever?
So Dara's coming back there with a comment. It says Adam announced that in the last hour on his Instagram. I thought he was off with Dave Kearney to play in Chicago, but clearly he's not. So
that's not a shame.
There it is. There, yeah.
That's a pity.
I heard that right about them. Byrne, right? Yeah.
Was it Adam Byrne that had picked English centre? What was his name? He picked him for the Lions as a bolter for the Lions. What was his name? Number 13, very, very good English centre from the past. Well, it's on the World Cup winning team. What's his name?
No, Underwood or some of them. No.
Tyndall, was it?
No. It was Will Greenwood.
What? England have a good centre.
Oh, they had
had I think it's.
Had. So sorry, had. Right.
Yeah. Greenwood picked Adam Byrne for the last Lions tour.
All right. Definitely a one out of the blue. Richard, your thoughts on the Italy game?
Yeah, there was a lot of ring rust there. I'll be honest with you. There was
giggity,
which I did expect. I'll be honest with you. I thought Crowley and Casey played well. I think Casey came off with a tight back or something, if I'm not mistaken.
He looked that way with the hot water bottle, right?
Yeah. I don't think it's that serious. As far as I know, Conan went off, wasn't it? He went off. It's not as serious as they first believed.
They put on a boot on him just to protect him, but it's not serious.
I think they left him in Dublin to rehab. So they're not.
Of course, sir. That's the only place he'd rehab, Richard, properly, you know.
I'd rather be in Portugal, to be honest with you, but however.
Well, that's true, actually. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. No, look, the starting front row done. They were a little shaky. The first scrum was, and the second scrum as well. Actually, I think Kilcoyne got folded in half on the first scrum. It went the other side on the second scrum, but they stabilised themselves. I think Kilcoyne played well. He's definitely going to go, I think. Stockdale, I don't think he's one to
go. No.
I know he made the most yards available because Danny's gone again.
Yeah,
I know he
ran across the pitch with him, didn't he? A lot of it.
Yeah, there was a lot of it lateral, and again, he's passing. If you look at Keith Earls, only made 48 meters, but he passed the ball 8 times. There's the difference, And also, I think that Earls has a little bit of credit in the bank with Farrell. Stockdale has never really played under Farrell. He was more a Schmidt man. I think he's the player to go instead of Stockdale. But all in all, it was a good start. I think it was.
But I tell you, Richard. Hold on, I'm just getting something here from StreamYard. No, it's right. There's a question there. Have you seen who Bod has picked for his World Cup squad? Now we look at this later on in the show, but he has in his just on the Stockdale thing, Richard, Pete, James, and Mike. He has Jacob Stockdale / Earls, so he's on the fence with the two of them. Now, I don't think I like Bod's pick, by the way. I think it's fairly on the money. I don't think Stockdale is going to be on that plane, to be honest with you.
No, I don't think either.
I agree.
Barring injury for me, I don't think so either. And you know something, I will be 100% honest. I'm not sure he's even merited a place in the fucking training squad.
In the reserves,
for 2 years, right? He's give him the benefit of the doubt, but he's done absolutely nothing for Ulster for 2 years.
Yeah,
and
or Ireland, Mike.
No. Well, absolutely hasn't even played for Ireland. But even when he's played for Ulster, he's done. I've watched all the games now. I've watched all Ulster's games as well, and I've seen very little. I'll be honest with you. I think Balakoon must feel aggrieved that Stockdale was given a chance before him.
Absolutely.
And then even Mike Lowry. No, Mike Lowry has been a big disappointment for me for the last year. But Balakoon has done okay, and I don't think Stockdale has done okay at all. I think he's very fortunate.
That comment actually came in from Gregor, our friend Gregor. His follow-up comment says Earls is versatile, which I would totally agree with Gregor. Much more versatile than Stockdale anyway. But I think Balakoon he should have been given a shot. Although is he in form for Ulster at the minute? Is he playing? Is he?
He's not, none of them have been in form, if we're honest. But
I think we've answered our own question there. To be honest, which is there's been a lack of form from certain players we expected. From Ulster to push on, and that's really where it's all at. I was at the game on Saturday.
Oh yeah, you were too. You were too.
Yeah, and I just thought that it was a bit of a shaky start, as Richard alluded to. There was a couple of scrum, a little bit untidy with the scrum. Dave Kilcoyne went down, and then Tom O'Toole got popped very handily at one stage as well by Fischetti, who went off fairly sharply, injured. I suppose, look, it was. If I was to give it a rating out of 10, I'd probably give it 7.5 to 8 out of 10. A couple of penalties that they gave away, Ireland gave away at line-out time, and they've did it before in the past, where they've been penalised for joining the jumper before the jumper hits the ground.
They did it twice in a row, Pete. They did it fucking twice in a row.
They've did it in Six Nations matches, and it is the height of fucking frustration.
Yeah,
the height of frustration, because they'd kicked to the corner for the line out. Next minute they're just handing it back.
Come here, there's an interesting
comment against the All Blacks. They can't be doing it against France. They can't be doing it against South Africa.
Interesting comment in there from Jared Brennan. We didn't overwhelm them in the Six Nations, and it was in the middle of the season with plenty of game time. There are no more whipping boys of the Rugby World Cup, and I think maybe we're being a little bit disingenuous when we're talking all about Ireland. Italy were actually quite good. They played very, very well. I thought they had a very, very bright start. And I would agree with Jared there. I don't think they're the whipping boys anymore.
Oh, they're not.
No, Italy have an under-20 side that have been coming there for 2 years.
Yeah,
so
and I think
a lot of them are starting to mature now.
Yeah, I think their coaching ticket over the last number of years have done a lot, including our own Irishman who did a lot of work with them and did a lot of grassroots stuff there. And I think a lot of that is paying, delivering dividends now.
Which begs the question, why are they getting rid of Crowley?
Well, that is the question. Why?
It's absolutely. But you know what it is though? They've actually torn up the structures that O'Shea and Stevie Abood have put in place.
Yeah.
The FIR, for reasons only known to themselves, have decided to dismantle all those structures. It's absolutely batshit. I think it's probably the usual crap that we hear from time to time. Politics and egos and so on. I'd say that's what an awful lot of it is. But look, going by what I've read and heard myself, is that Italy is what they've done. The underage group work that Abood and O'Shea did will only come through in the next 3 to 4 years. It's not going. It's happening now. A little bit of it. They're happening to be good, but the real fruits of the labour will come through in 3 to 4 years. That's what I've read and heard.
You were talking about the scrum. Italy gave France a thorough time in the scrum in the Six Nations.
Italy have had a very solid scrum for years.
They're not a mug seat. There's absolutely no way. They were very, very unlucky, like to lose all their games in the Six Nations. Like France fucking got it up there, got a really difficult time against them, and I was shocked to see Wales beat them. England had a hard time against them. You know, they kind of faded away a bit towards the end of the end of games.
Yeah, their bench is kind of what lets Italy down, and they don't really at the moment have the replacements to come off the bench. They
don't have strength and depth. They don't have two teams.
We're in a position. Italy are kind of in a position where we were 20 years ago.
Yeah. Well, we're saying that about Scotland as well, but it's there's not much between Scotland and Italy in my book. Scotland probably have a bit more quality in certain positions, but there's not much overall really.
Oh yeah, they like the likes of Hogg and that.
And is our friend Capuzzo, is he the bod of the Italian team? So,
he's
outstanding
injured at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who are you talking about?
Yeah, he's a fabulous fullback.
Oh yeah.
Most teams have a star player. Yeah. Most teams have a.
Parisi was their star player for 20 years.
And your man Cappuccino. He was, but your man, as James said, your man
Capu Watso.
Fucking Cappuccino. He's there.
Capu Watso is his fucking name.
He's their star player. Ours is.
It's not you, Peter. Anyway,
probably Caelan Doris, is it?
But I mean, Sexton or Doris or Josh van der Fleer is probably ours.
We've got a number of them now.
Let's say Owen Farrell. France. I know, but France, you'll probably say France, you probably go to Dupont or Aldrich or whatever.
Or any fucking one you want to pick
against.
I know.
But yeah, so there you go. Anyway, go on, Pete. Sorry, back to you, Pete.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, we were bitching and moaning and talking about the ticketing for these matches, and again, I'll my own experience being at the Italy match. Myself and the young fella got in, and it was just shy of 80 quid, and so seats weren't bad either. So probably wasn't too bad, but I did have the option of looking at the England game instead of the Italy game, but I just thought to myself the pricing is just bananas. Absolutely off the charts.
There was a lot of empty seats at that game Saturday.
They catch up as regards, fill the coffers again because of COVID. But like, fuck me, like it's ridiculous money, and it's not even a Six Nations match.
And sorry, the time of the match, 8 o'clock kickoff, and even
that was mental.
Like
I wouldn't have gone only.
We'd have gone. We'd have gone to that because they come out with €10 kid tickets late on. We'd have gone to that only with 8 o'clock in the evening. You'd have to stay over like fuck. It'd be 1 o'clock.
Where are you going to fucking stay in Dublin?
I would have been the same. I would have gone to it if it had been at 3 or 4 o'clock. But it was just insane. 8 o'clock in the evening.
Sorry, gentlemen. There's a point that before the last subject matter that we came off. I know Earls is versatile, but do we need a versatile 36-year-old back though? Briefly, because we're moving on.
Well, I think you can do a job.
Absolutely.
Do a job.
Look. At the end of the day, he's not going to be there if he isn't fit, right? That's the bottom line. And once he's fit, he brings an awful lot to the table. If he's not fit, it's not even a conversation piece.
He'd do
I
20
tell you
minutes.
what, we've all watched him for his whole career probably, and I don't think he's ever put in a bad shift in any game I've ever watched him for anyone.
No.
And
No, I agree.
I take him if he's fit. I take him.
He's a consummate professional.
I take him
use
ahead
a
of
cliche.
Stockdale, definitely.
Okay. Anyway, so that's just finish that one. Otherwise, we'll be here all fucking night.
Anyway, Peter Burke, what do you think of those silly prices as regards to tickets?
I thought they were ridiculous, Pete. I really did. I saw them, and my first reaction was that they should have been half what they were asking for. I think the premium level, which I like to go to if I have the money at the time. I like to go to because I like the outside the bar area and all that. Just you walk down. 135 quid for the England game for a warm-up fucking game. Like, what the fuck are they doing? I mean, you're the mind boggles as to how they think they're going to fill the Aviva.
Prices are less than that for fucking World Cup matches.
Well, they are, but I mean, I just like Pete. You said it there, hangover from COVID, and they're trying to fill the coffers again. That's all this is. This is just pure fucking greed. I don't understand it. 135 quid.
Well, when they fill the stadium.
Well, they probably will. You see, this is the whole thing.
Because it's England.
Because it's England.
Against Italy, which is shameful as far as I'm concerned.
No, they won't. But I mean, like the whole
Fucking
idea, like even the cheapest tickets, I think, Pete, are
90 quid or something like that.
Is it 90 quid or something?
Yeah, I saw 90 somewhere. I could be stand to correct.
Yeah, no. But when you go down the list, you know, category 2, 1, 2, fucking XYZ, how's your fucking own? Then you go down to obstructed view. Charge them 45 quid for that. Like, what the? You're fucking well in the hell, lads. Like, who the fuck is going to pay that? You know, you'll be fucking sitting there in your seat, you're like that. Yeah, it's fucking, yeah. So what's going on now? Yeah, that's fucking brilliant, isn't it?
Hang on.
I don't understand.
Does restricted view mean you're sitting behind the prop?
If you're unlucky.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Fuck's sake. It's just.
Well, I was at the Ireland game in Twickenham last year, and I think it was 60 quid or 65 quid for a Six Nations game in Twickenham last year. And we hadn't any restricted view or anything. Okay, we were in one of the ends. We weren't on the side like we were, but it's nonsense. And I was in Paris the year before, and it was only 40 euros or 45 euros or something for a ticket. It's fucking they're pricing themselves out of the market, and
yes,
the crowd and the crowd proved it on Saturday. You were there, Peter. Was there a lot of empty seats?
There was empty seats in the upper tiers of both stands, but there was a lot of the one thing I would say, and I suppose this is something the IRFU need to take on board. There was an awful lot of like I had my 11-year-old with me, and there was a lot of families there, and I'd say it was basically it was like a trip up or whatever. It was family orientated.
They brought out a €10 ticket for kids, like at the 11th hour, to try and sell them off, and then there was a load of tickets released for €10 for kids, and I think that's where that came from.
Yeah,
I agree with what you said, James, as well. The 8 o'clock in the evening kickoff is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, there's a comment in there though, Mike, about it was to do with the guards that the Saturday was set aside for an All Ireland replay if it was needed, and they wouldn't allow 2 3 o'clock kickoffs.
It's a manpower issue then.
Yeah,
but even 5 o'clock would have been better.
Yeah,
8 o'clock at night is a fucking. You're the game. You're getting over there at 11 o'clock. Like, where do you go then? I went to a concert in the RDS about 3 or 4 years ago. A Fleetwood Mac concert. I flew over for it, and I'd planned to stay in Dublin.
Really
cheaper to hire a car for a full week than to stay in the fucking shittiest hotel in Dublin for one night.
Yeah, look.
James Brennan, have you any view on the tickets?
Have I any view on the tickets?
Yeah,
I think they're
what you've already said.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous price. The England game, like, there's no way. I'm not paying 90 quid for a fucking ticket for that. It's a warm-up game for the fucking World Cup.
Yeah.
45 euros, 50 quid even. That'd be more affordable. By the time, you put petrol in the car and go up and, get a bite to eat and, you're a couple of hundred quid gone before you even do anything. It's a good day out, fine. Yeah, it's a great day out and, it'll be a great atmosphere, blah, blah, blah. But the price is just ridiculous. And if it's half empty again, then Fuck them.
Then it's got to be shit. Now, gentlemen, sorry, Pete. I've just found the pick I put up of the ticket prices, right? Here you go for the England game. Warm up fucking game, right? Where the bench is going to be empty. It's not going to be a fucking the starting 15 or 23 squad we're used to, right? Premium level, which I love, 135 quid. Not a fucking chance. Category 1 stand, 120. Category 2 stand, 110. Category 3 stand, 90 quid. Category 4 stand, 70. Restricted view, category 1, 60 quid. Restricted view, category 2, 55. Restricted view, category 3, 45. Restricted view, category 4, 35. Schoolboy, schoolgirl, 15 quid, which they'll sell, they'll be gone, and you won't fucking see sightness down. That's what you're looking at, which is fucking madness. Madness.
Yeah.
It's wrong as what it is. It's wrong.
They should rename the restricted view as sitting looking at James Ryan's back or something like that.
Yeah.
The way I look at that is
it's fucking wrong, and they're reaping the benefits, or they're reaping the dividends, because they played, like you said, Peter. They were in a not a half empty stadium, but certainly a lot of empty seats that should have been filled. Any game that Ireland play at Lansdowne Road now should be absolutely filled. There's no question about it.
We're the number 1 team in the world.
Yeah, if that team can't fill a stadium, by the way, there's something wrong. I guarantee you, the All Blacks, if the All Blacks came anywhere in the world, they fill a stadium. And if you're going to play the All Blacks, then you can maybe justify charging premium prices. But we're playing fucking Italy, and then we're playing England, who are worse.
But don't forget, Mike, don't forget, every time any rugby nation entertains the All Blacks at home, they've got to pay $1 million to play them for the privilege.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's right.
They want to get rid of that fucking old shite, for starters.
That's just the way it is. But
that's just the way it is.
I know in fairness, they do draw a crowd anywhere they go. So
we'll set up that conversation with Sakaya, will we, Mike?
Yeah. No, I would say fair enough if you're playing them, but we should be filling a stadium right now. If we can't fill it now, we're never going to fill one. It's as simple as that.
Well, do you know what it is, though, Mike? There's an awful lot of naysayers and begrudgers out there, and they don't necessarily believe we're as good as the basically what it says in the paper.
Well,
that it's affecting the ranking. They don't believe it. And to an extent, I can understand that. If we manage to stay number 1, if we pull off the greatest, pull off the best we can do now in by the end of 28th of October, we get to the final, and please God we win it. And if we maintain our rankings, then we can kick the tens. The right lads, All Blacks did it for years, £1 million up front, and we'll play us. That's my own view on that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We have
something like that. It's a marketing. We have to really earn it. The All Blacks have fucking earned it.
We've definitely underachieved at World Cups. As
100%.
Well, we know that. Yeah, it's just
there's no question about it. We're the only tier 1 nation that hasn't got past the quarter final. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, all right, Mike.
That's history. That's history, Mike.
I know it is. And we're going to fucking rectify it this time. By the way, we definitely
wreck the gap.
I just done quick maths there. They don't sell a family ticket anymore, do they? They used to sell a family package, but at the moment, so Peter, yourself, and say your better half and the 2 kids want to go to category 3 tickets. You said, Peter, were €90.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
category 3. Yeah,
that's
€90.
That's 300 and what? That's €360 before and the drinks before there was.
Well, it'll be if I had 3 kids, it'd be 3 kids. It'd be over 200 quid.
Yeah,
you have to get 4,
and that's for somebody living in Dublin.
But come here.
That's before you're driving from Mayo, James. That's before diesel or anything.
Yeah. But those restricted tickets, you might as well be sitting in Croke Park trying to watch a fucking game in Lansdowne Road as being in those.
The Guinness Brew House, the one at the top.
Yeah. You'd have a better view from there.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. A $1 million appearance fee for the
wouldn't we say we wouldn't have sight, sound, or smell of that in the sports ground, James? Would we?
No, you wouldn't.
Clan stand.
gentlemen, a million appearance fee for the ABs. We could get the Harlem Globetrotters for half that.
But why would we?
It's probably more than the combined development money available to Fiji, Tonga, and Samoa together. So where are the next generation of All Blacks going to be poached from? There you go.
I do agree with the
I
first
don't
that
think
message.
there's going to be huge. I don't think the All Black the New Zealand will be poaching too many now from the Pacific Islands going forward.
No, I don't think so either. I
So
think
didn't allow them go
That's my
to
hunch.
Tonga or Tonga. Or
you look at the influx of players going back since they changed that rule.
Yeah.
You're talking. You can name 25 players that are going back the other way now.
Yeah,
Very true. Very true.
100%.
Well, it will all come down to who's available in their own country before whether they pick players from elsewhere or not.
Yeah, no, it used to be the case that the All Blacks did poach players, but not so much anymore. I think nearly all of that panel that are playing for New Zealand are New Zealand born, irrespective of their parents' heritage, for want of a better word. But the vast majority of them are New Zealand born now. That is a thing of the past, or an urban myth, or whatever you want to call it.
And that leads us nicely, Pete, onto the NIQ question.
Yeah.
Right.
So, calling all Munster fans out there, you've got one choice.
Dun, dun, dun.
Viking, a.k.a. R.G. Snyman, or John Klein. And sorry, but you cannot have two.
No, you can't. You're not allowed. You can only have one.
Not allowed.
Well,
And I know where I'd be going on consistency alone. I'd be going for Klein for the last 2.5 years. He's been absolutely superb. He's just been everywhere. I know Simon has had his
Grab me a
problems.
glass too, James, will you?
Yeah, good. Get me a glass. We all have a beer. I'll have a Heineken. Thanks.
Yeah.
Cheers, James. Sound.
I know Snyman had his injuries problem, and Munster did stand by him, and fair play to him. But just on consistency alone, I'd be going for Klein.
I would as well.
He brought the bottle, good man.
Yeah.
Go on, James.
Brian caught a straight tonight, lads.
Should have brought a pint glass with you.
Well, this
straw.
glass takes about a full bottle of wine. So just
Fair enough.
Actually, James, before we move on, James, I was down in Brook Lodge.
That's a big glass, James. It fit your head in it, honest.
You would actually. Yeah. And there was we met a couple from the UK, and he was drinking whiskey. And I said, I said, by the way, what whiskey are you drinking? Because my father, when he was alive, he loved Glenfiddich, 15-year-old Glenfiddich. And your man turns around to me in a very strong East End London accent. And he said, I'm not even going to try and imitate him. He said, Redbreast, best whiskey ever. I said,
he's right. It is.
I said, there you go. I said, I know a man who drinks Redbreast whiskey.
Yeah.
Well,
My own father would be the same now.
well,
Yeah, it's excellent. Really, really is. Yeah.
It's
Tonight,
fine stuff.
the Ireland game at Murrayfield, or no, it was the Friday night. My brother and sister came over, and we done 2 bottles of Glenfiddich and a half bottle of Glenmorangie on the Friday night.
Jesus Christ,
Jeez, you're going around the blends there, Mike, were you?
By the way, they can drink now. To be fair, I'm only a apprentice.
That's not exactly what you call whiskey appreciation. That's just gluttony.
Mike, if you were to choose, Mike Reedy, if you were to choose between Snyman and John Klein, only one of them. You can only have one.
John Klein every day of the week, purely because you're almost guaranteed he's going to play. Snyman played fucking 2 matches in 2 years.
He's played about 15 minutes in 15 matches.
So that's no. Do you know what? I mean, Snyman is the better player, I would say, by and large. But John Klein, you're going to get.
He does the grunt work for you.
Having said that, he's turned his back on the country. He's fucked off. He's gone. I wouldn't. I'll be perfectly honest, Joe. I'd have fucking neither of them now. That shit needs to stop, as far as I'm concerned. See him bringing in these mercenaries, because it was different when a guy could qualify to play for Ireland, like Stander and Klein did back in his time. And Vermeulen and all these players, they're all the Irish mercenaries coming here to make money. That money should be invested in fucking local talent.
But you see, Mike, I know the point you're making, but we had I don't know if you saw it, but we had the current Leinster player Alex Soroka on here last week.
Yeah, I saw him. Yeah,
And he made a point that like a rugby player's career is on average 15 years.
mm-hmm.
So like you have to make your money. That's a relatively short space of time for anyone's career. 15 years.
I'm not disputing that at all, Peter. Why I'm disputing? Why should we be fucking making money for South Africans? Listen,
but the other teams do it. England do it. Italy do it. France do it. France particularly. Australia, like they all do it. France
probably the greatest Italian player to ever play was Sergio Parisse. Was actually born in Argentina, and he was asked would he be interested in going to play in the World Cup for Argentina, and he said, "I wouldn't say no." Exactly what he said.
Yeah.
I can see both sides. I can see both sides with Richard and Mike. I can see both sides with
so can I. So can I.
You know, I really can, because I mean it's not a very long career.
I have no problem with players like Gibson Park, James Lowe, CJ Stander, John Klein when he played, Bundyaki. There's a few players that we've benefited from having bringing them in as project players, and they could qualify to play for Ireland. But fucking Snyman isn't going to ever qualify to play for Ireland. Vermeulen, there's probably more. Like why are we wasting money on those players when we could be giving our own players more fucking money?
Because Munster are shite and they need them.
Well,
I was going to say. Look, I'll tell you what now, Pete. I was looking at this.
James, well played,
James. Yes, I was looking at this earlier.
Munster, anything?
Munster. No, I'll tell you, Mike. Hold on a sec. Munster have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 NIQs at the moment. They're only really allowed 4. You've got Knox, Klein, Snyman, Frisch, Fekitoa.
I thought Knox and Frisch are Irish qualified. I think Knox is because he's here long enough.
And Frisch has an Irish grandmother or something along those lines.
But have they served their time to do this? Because I was reading on it was a Munster chat board, and these were the players that they said were NIQ'd. Mike Haley, is he?
He's been capped. He was capped. So
he's been capped.
No, but so was Klein. Klein was capped as well, and then declared for South Africa.
Mike Haley, he's again. This is under the grandmother rule, which doesn't actually apply.
Yeah,
it's the same as you can actually draw down an Irish passport if your grandmother was born in the Republic.
Yeah,
or your grandfather, or whatever.
But Mike Haley could also go and
play for England.
He could, yeah.
And
the length of time he's gone, he's since his Irish cap, he could do that if he was picked.
Connacht have 4 NIQs, I believe, and Ulster have 3, and I think Leinster have 3 as well. So now
who's the 3 Leinster have? Alala.
Yeah.
Who else?
I actually didn't write them down, to be honest with you.
Because
I just wrote down a number.
So
actually, I think Leinster have less than that, Pete. I think Leinster have less than that.
Well, Vak Abdeladze is now Georgian, so he is an NIQ. He is an NIQ now, but he's gone. He's gone.
Yeah, so Abdeladze was one, and Alala was another one. There's one more. There's another one whose name escapes me now. I can't think of who it was, but there is one more. But I think 3 is the max for Leinster. Connacht have 4. Ulster have 3. But Munster are way over quota, I think.
Going for what? Munster have 6. They're going for what you're saying.
But they're over 4 anyway at the moment.
Yeah.
Now, so this is the thing that your man, who's the head honcho, the fella in the IRFU, Nusafora. This is his thing. So each province has a max of 4.
Is he NIQ as well, is he?
Jason Jenkins.
Jenkins.
Yes,
Jenkins,
there you go.
Just come up. Come on, Danny.
There you go. The money for the Munster South Africans doesn't come from the IRFU Munster coffers, but that doesn't make it right. Okay. Fair enough.
What did we lose on?
Let me see. The money...
Can we get a sample of Barrett DNA and give it to the lads in Trinity, some money to clone them instead of paying for the injured Safas? Yeah,
I
but
know,
the,
we'll just clone Johnny Sexton.
our lads all could have played for Ireland if their dad had,
Yeah,
you know,
Natai.
if we'd given
There you
them.
go. Yeah, yeah. Charlie Natai, Jenkins, Alatoa, and Natai. Whoever said that is it? Yeah, I think. Yeah, you're right. So three.
Dara
Three.
Weston.
Yeah, Dara, good man, Dara. 3 MIQs at the moment. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Right, Pete.
Okay.
Jersey.
I think we've
Jersey.
kind of. Oh yeah, jerseys. Going doing a U-turn and going back to the Ireland-Italy match. The palaver and the fuss and the carry on about the jerseys. Anybody really kind of notice, give us stuff, thought it was good, bad, and different? Personally, I didn't give a shite. I knew them all anyway.
Yeah, you know him by the
you mean
silhouette
the
almost.
names
A lot
on the
of them.
jerseys?
Yeah,
Well, lads, from my perspective here, I'm old school. I wouldn't have names on jerseys. However, we want to promote the game. We want to generate a new support. The game itself needs a new support for financially, and so be it. Let's just fucking grin and bear it and get on with it, because it's happened in every other sport. We're just going to have to accept it. That's my perspective. I'm all for growing the game. We need to grow the game globally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the game is struggling globally right now, financially. Struggling in South Africa, it's struggling everywhere. England are in fucking serious trouble by the looks of it.
And Wales.
yeah. And Wales are rocking.
Wales
Like,
basket case.
can't like, we
I
need
dare say the SFU is not too far behind it.
no.
Yeah.
Is there anything to be said for another mass?
There you go. That's it.
I'd say there is.
No, but I'll tell you what. Sorry, go on, Richard.
I actually barely noticed that. You notice it for the first 5 minutes, the names on the shirts, and then you don't.
Yeah.
That was the way it was with me.
I didn't notice it at all.
Well, there you go.
Here's one thing that I actually picked up on, and I was only on social media. Did anybody notice that the Bank of Ireland logo on the pitch, on the screen, but it wasn't actually on the pitch?
I seen that.
I saw that comment, by the way, and I'm just down. I think it's absolutely incredible.
That's mad, isn't it? I hadn't noticed it, but now until I seen it on social media, and I kind of going, oh fuck.
There's a good point there, gentlemen. The thing about the names on jerseys is the IRFU don't make the money. It's the sports shops like Elbury's who put the name and number onto the jerseys when you buy it. So does any money really go back into rugby from having names on jerseys? Now, I asked Alex Soroka this last week, and his answer, now he wasn't 100%, he didn't know, but he imagined that there would be some sort of license fee. There has to be, for a player's name to be on the back of a jersey, and for that jersey then to be sold. There has to be rights to that name. It's like your man, the Kung Fu kick Man United fella who...
Oh, Eric Cantona.
Eric Cantona, who had a legal battle with Man United about 7, and Cantona on top. So I'd imagine there must be some sort of payback or kickback to the players.
I don't know so much, Peter, because we're talking about completely different set of rules here. First and foremost, in football, their squad numbers and their squad names. In international rugby, the number changes every week, and you're not going to start putting. Yeah. You're not going to start giving a player a squad number.
No,
you're going to give him a fucking 1 to 15 every game. So whoever wears that jersey, no, it is going to become complicated, because, like, it's going to become very costly if you have to fucking produce a new jersey every week for different players. So I don't know how it can work. Like, rugby is traditionally 1 to 15. Football is by and large fucking 1 to 99. So
yeah, true. Actually, yeah, that's a good point, Mike. Good point.
I don't know. I genuinely don't have a problem, and I get what people are saying there about the money side. It's not the money side from jersey sales I'm talking about. It's money. It's getting people, because new people coming to watch the game haven't got a fucking clue who the players are. They don't. The positions don't mean anything to them. Like, it means something to all of us because we're rugby fans, but it doesn't mean anything to the Northern League. And we do need those people, whether we like it or not. We genuinely need bums on seats. We didn't have them in fucking the Aviva on Saturday. So new support is required.
Okay, fair point, Mike. Fair point.
Absolutely. I suppose. Look, the other topic then I wanted to bring up, and of course, there was a big announcement yesterday. Is the World Cup squads have been announced by several nations already. Fiji, I think Samoa, England,
France.
Have they? Not
I think New
sure.
Zealand.
France?
I don't
New
think
Zealand
so.
have.
England have.
I think New Zealand pulled the trigger this morning.
New Zealand have, and of course, the one that was the big palaver about was the South African squad yesterday.
Yeah,
with their injuries, and they're crying over that.
Yeah, and a few notable absences there.
Yeah. And the feeling that there's a stroke going to be pulled close to the actual deadline day, the official deadline day.
Now that's just Janties with the dietitian.
The one-eyed ice cream maker again, is it? The one-eyed ice cream maker.
The one-eyed ice cream maker. Hey, how you doing?
I can't see the advantage I cannot see the advantage of picking a team right now. I cannot see. There's three friendly game or like post
two
still played.
Two, isn't it?
Or
Still, it depends on the nation.
Depends on the nation, I think.
some of them are saying
It's a fucking nonsense, because naming a team this early, this, it's just semantics, because that's all going to change. There'll be injuries, there'll be people brought in, there'll be people in form, out of form, and it'll all going to change. So I don't know what the point of naming teams this early.
Portugal's called up players who aren't making his World Cup squad for the game against Wales this weekend, which is absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion.
Yeah, if you knew you weren't going, why the fuck would you even be motivated?
Now, come here.
To do it?
Let's just shoot off on a tangent here. Sorry, Pete. And I'll ask everyone: do you think Steve Borthwick will be in a job after this World Cup?
Not a chance.
I think he'd be looking for the World Cup.
I think was it Tim put up something about the excuses. I think it could have been.
Yeah.
Why the fuck did we sack Eddie Jones, Australia? Why the fuck did we hire him?
Yeah.
But did you see our friends over on the people who occasionally borrow stuff from us on Rook? They said that they had the top 5 possible replacements for Borthwick, and Andy Farrell and Stuart Lancaster were in their top 5 lists. There you go now.
Well, Lancaster, he's only going into, but it's going to cost England a massive amount of money to buy out his contract at Racing. That's
so was come here, and Richard. Sorry, so was Ron O'Gara.
Again, it's going to cost a massive amount of money to buy out the contract, because I think O'Gara just signed an extension down there. So it's Farrell. I think
tell us, why would you want to go there?
Well, there is that too. Yeah.
I mean, from Andy Farrell's perspective, why would he want to leave number 1 team in the world to go to potentially the number fucking 7 they're going to be soon?
Here's a question, gents: is that which coaching job in world rugby as a nation is the most attractive
right now?
Hands down.
And which is the least attractive?
Italy.
No, even the Italy game, you're not expected to do that, in the English public expects.
Well, how about that's what I was just about to say. I'd say the England job has to be up there with one of the most undesirable coaching
right
jobs
now
because of what's going on.
Yeah. Okay.
The Ireland job is very desirable because it has been stable. It was stable under Joe Schmidt. The Irish system is stable. There's not as many antics.
But is the money there, Mike?
Sorry?
Is the money there for the Ireland job by comparison?
Maybe not. No, I don't know. I wouldn't. Listen, it must be okay. It must be fairly all right.
It's a 6-figure salary that the coach is on. It hands easily, right? They are. Andy Farrell will be on a 6-figure salary. His registered residence is in the UK, so his tax bill is reduced somewhat, right? Albeit he probably puts it through a company or whatever it is registered in the UK, right? I wouldn't like it. The money side of things is kind of, for a lot of these guys, it is important, but I think it's secondary to success and getting a team and getting recognition on the world stage. I am this guy, this woman who coached a team who's number one in the world. We got to a final in the World Cup. We won the World Cup, whatever it is. I think the money is kind of secondary to these guys.
But then, you want to win. You want to win. That's
exactly. Yeah. There's just a point there. What about a limited edition Brosnan jersey to fund some decent broadband for Danny? Niall Quinn or Elon Musk will get a satellite over Kerry if the locals will stop shooting at it.
Come on,
Who was that?
Dara. Again. Yeah. We'll have to get Dara on here. We'll have to get him on here.
I asked him, but he was away. No, I asked him. He was away for work stuff, and we'll get him on some stage. Yeah. I'd say Wales is one of the worst jobs. Actually, that's a good point. Actually,
The Welsh problem. Well, I suppose, and it goes back, and you could say the English as well. It's 20 years of chronic underinvestment. That's what's wrong with Wales.
Yeah, true.
One thing I'd say about the Wales jobs. Yes, one thing I'll just say about the Wales job. Yes, it is a terrible job, but looking at all of what fans are saying on social media, they know it is. They know that basically the fans wouldn't have the sense of kind of delusionment that maybe some other the English fans might have about how we actually have a great, because I do think some of them still think that we have a bloody great. The Premiership is actually a decent bloody league. It's far from it.
No, and it never has been.
I'd say the AIL is better than our AIL will be better than the Premiership.
The most delusional fans on the fucking planet. The most delusional fucking fans on the planet are the fucking South Africans.
I thought you were going to say Munster there for a second.
No. No.
I thought you were going to say
who are the most delusional fans?
South Africans.
Oh yeah, they're just
South Africans.
Do you know my problem with South Africans fans are?
The ref. It's the ref. It's always the ref.
The ref, yeah.
For anybody.
It's always the fucking ref, James. Yeah, you're right, James. It's always the fucking ref.
They have no respect though for us or for any team in the Northern Hemisphere. Maybe France put that push. But outside of that, no respect.
I have to say, I saw posts on I think it's Rugby Punt is one of these other pages, and I had a picture of Johnny Sexton with a moustache on it, and it was his name is Jerry Sexton or something like that.
Sonny Jackson.
Yeah, and this basically saying because the whole thing was that he was playing in a practice game. Well, the comments from the Saffron fans, they were absolutely losing it. Losing it, saying calling us cheap,
great. I love to hear
underhand, all this kind of crack, and it's like
this is laying the ground. This is laying the ground now for their excuses, if you know what I mean. If they do fall flat on their face, they'll be able to go back. Oh well, he played in the match when he wasn't meant to be playing in the match, and all this fucking art shit.
Really,
it's incredible. It really, really is, and them having picked their squad though. But in all seriousness though, a lot of the South African fans appear to be quite concerned over the fact that they don't have a kicker, but they've got 4 scrum halves.
Yeah, what?
No, I tell you, no, but Pete, they have a kicker, but he's injured.
Yeah, but
and
like
Pollard, yeah, but that's it. I know what you call him. What do you call that little blonde fucker, the little scrum half?
Faf.
South Africa.
Faf.
He I seen him in the rugby championship. He was taking a lot of the kicks.
He was, yeah. Him and Cheslin Colby.
Well, Colby, yeah. The less said about him, the better, I think.
He was
I was in the clan stand one evening, and Faf was playing, and he was taking a kick from the 20-meter line and the 22. Right beside the clan stand, and just as much to take the kick, someone says, quiet lads, give her a chance.
Because
that was actually you, James. That was you.
Yeah. Quiet lads, give her a chance.
Because he's worth it.
Yeah.
Anyway, there you go. Right, we're on 50. Jesus Christ, nearly an hour up. Where the fuck does time go? Right, Pete, I'm going to add, we let us one thing. I'm going to say 4 players. We touched on this earlier, but I'm going to say 4 players who I think Andy Farrell won't include in his squad, right? And although Bod has included one of what I'm saying, it won't be. But anyway, we go with this. I don't think McCluskey, Coombs, Stockdale, or Earls are going to go.
I don't think Frawley, Blade, Stockdale, and
Go on, Pete. Go on.
Keane Prendergast will go.
Big call, big call.
Okay. Go on, James.
I think Frawley, McCluskey. Unfortunately, I think Blade won't go, and definitely not Stockdale.
Definitely not. You're
Definitely not
like me. Yeah, you're right. You're like me. You're writing Stockdale off. He's just
Completely. Yeah.
all right. Okay, Mike.
Now, I wouldn't write Frawley off just yet, and I'll tell you why. Even the warm-up games, if we haven't, because we obviously don't have Sexton. If anything happens to either Crowley or Byrne, we can't even field a second 10 for either of those games coming up. So are you talking about right now, or just the squad getting picked for the World Cup?
The squad who will get picked for the World Cup.
Well,
It might well be on the standby.
I don't know. I don't see Stockdale. I think he played himself out of a shirt at the weekend.
Some of those guys might get called up if there's injuries, and I'd love to see Blade getting a chance on the big stage.
I don't think he will now, James, either, because
I know he I don't think he's going to go on the plane on the first cut, but I'd love to see him getting a chance and getting a call up. But it would mean an injury either to Gibson Park, or to Casey.
Or Conor Murray.
Conor Murray. I wouldn't have Conor Murray in it.
The three fly halves are going to be Crowley, Byrne, and Sexton, and the three scrum halves are going to be Gibson Park, Murray, and Casey.
I wouldn't have Murray in it, to be honest with you.
Well, he's going to be in it. He's done very well in the Six Nations, I have to say.
No, but I think
I would have it.
I think Mike, I agree with you, James. I think Murray is very much now at the moment a bench player for the last quarter.
Close out the game.
Yeah, he's like the control rod to slow things down when they're in control of a game.
I'll tell you where we got a perfect example of somebody that didn't close out a game was in the Heineken Cup final. Gibson Park and Ross Byrne didn't close out the game. And but they didn't. Like that's. I'm not having a go at Leinster. I'm having a go at the fact that they didn't. So we need somebody. You need someone that's going to. And Murray is capable of doing the right things, like slowing a game down or doing whatever is necessary. When you have a game won, you need someone to close it out.
That's for sure. He'd fucking slow it down, useless slow bastard.
Yeah. Well, he's also capable of fucking spit roasting some bird or fucking zebo. So, but we won't go there. You know what I mean?
And not ending up in court.
Not ending up in court. So he dodged that.
Gregor has given a shout there for his for Frawley, McCluskey, Stockdale, and Blade. It was a fair shout, Gregor.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going with as well. To be honest with you, now.
Well, like a few years said McCluskey. Who would go instead of McCluskey?
There's enough cover there. McCluskey is just a 12. He said it himself. He's just a fucking 12. He can't play 13. He can't play 15. He can't play 11 or 14. So, like, what the fuck are you doing with a dedicated 12? Like,
and he can't score a try without fouling someone beforehand.
Well, you can say the same about Aki as well. That Aki's just a 12.
But Aki is a better 12. Than McCluskey.
Yeah, but you're saying by bringing two 12s, you're sacrificing someone
by comparison with.
I think Aki is more than a 12. If I'm honest, I think he could play on the wing. I also think that he was hung out to dry in the Six Nations against Scotland. Was it? No, he didn't play against. Who did he play
against? Italy.
Italy game at 13. He hung himself out to dry.
but Mike, that just proves he can't play. He doesn't have the pace. We've had this conversation before on here. We've discussed about the differences, the subtle differences between playing at inside and outside centre. And you need to have gas to play at outside centre, and Aki doesn't have
that step.
I'll tell you what, I watched that game again recently, by the way, the Italy game, and he made no doubt about it. He made one chronic mistake where he passed the ball. There was a Capuazzo and ran under the post. The second try, but their first try wasn't his fault. It was fucking James Lowe ran out of the line,
which
and
Lowe
hung him out
tends
to
to
dry.
do that.
He hung himself out to dry in the conversation afterwards. I think we've put too much of a, we've talked too much about how he can't play 13. He can play 13 if he needs to. He's not that bad. He's not as bad as we've made him out to be, I don't think.
No, and the amount of work that he does off the ball is it's a huge amount of work, more so than anyone else playing 12.
Yeah,
he does a serious amount of work off the ball. That's
I like Bundyaki, but
it's invaluable.
Something that he needs to address. He said,
right, lads, we've got 3 minutes left because we started late, so we've 3 minutes left. But I will say to come back to Bundyaki, Mike and James, Pete and Richard. What I like about Bundyaki is that at 12 is that he's a direct runner.
Yeah.
And nine times out of 10 in the centre of the park, if you give Aki the ball, it'll take two players to take him down.
Yeah.
He'll cross the gain line every time.
Absolutely.
He will.
Absolutely.
What happens then with the defending team is if you've got two players in the centre of the park taking out a player, it contracts their defence. So if you've got so if you have a quick scrum half like Casey or Blade or whatever, Bundy crashes, takes two players out, the defence contracts in because they don't have the cover. You whip the ball out to the wing, get Lowe or Hansen or whatever down those.
I would just add for the same reason you've just said there, Peter. McCluskey brings great value because he'll actually stay on his feet and throw around the corner offload.
Yeah,
and that's what I'd be a fan of McCluskey. I think he's been very harshly done with over.
But he doesn't attract defenders the same way that Aki does. Aki, they're watching Aki more than the likes of McCluskey because he's a bigger danger, and he'll
know what he's going to do.
Take two to stop him.
I think there's a place for both of them, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think there's a place for both of them in the squad. Now, Jimmy O'Brien is going to be going as a utility player. Obviously, Keenan, Lowe, and
just sorry, Mike, just to say something, and this is what we've seen in the squad announcement and the South Africans again. Going back to that, there is great versatility in the Irish team.
Yeah.
Between the forwards and in the backs. Like there you have, like Jack Crowley can play 10, 12 and 15. He slotted in again at 15 when Frawley came on.
Porter can go to 1 and 3.
Exactly. And Tom O'Toole, interestingly, was designated as a loose head as well as a tight head.
That's what I want to say.
Keane Healy, obviously we've seen him again
play anywhere in the front.
At a push, you can put him in as hooker, as we've seen.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
I would have no. Just putting it out there. I'd have no concerns or issues as regards the versatility of our pack, and the forwards that I think that'll be going and the playing at all. I think it's pretty much nailed already, unless Conan's injury, which we've been told is not as bad, and I think that would mean Coombs would come in rather than perhaps Prendergast.
Yeah, because he's versatile.
But I think that the squad is pretty much settled.
Yeah,
but I don't think. Sorry, Mike. I'd say the reason for you spoke about versatility there. That's the reason I'd have Frawley on the plane, because Frawley, as we know, 10 and 13 cover, or 10, 12 cover.
15.
Keith Earls is 11, 15, 11, 14, 13.
There's a comment coming up there, lads. There's a comment coming up there from Dara again. Keane Healy can play 1 to 15.
That's Josh van der Veer, surely.
All right, we're a minute over time, Pete. Do you want to wrap it up? Or?
Yeah, sure. Look, we'll knock it in the head, folks, this evening. Thanks to everybody who has tuned in this evening. I hope you were entertained, or you got something out of it, or you even managed to even ask a question and get it answered. So with that, we'll wrap up for this evening, and we'll see you same time, same place for more rugby next week. We will have more to talk about. So it's good night from me. It's good night from Richard and Peter and James and Mike in Scotland. All right.
Good luck, folks. Good luck, folks.
Good luck, everybody.
Take it easy.
Good luck.
Good luck.